Welcome to Shrouded Realities. I scared Ruby. I got a little loud there.
That was a lot.
That's okay.
I liked it, though.
That's okay. I want to come in hot. Coming in hot. Turn me up just a little bit in the ears. But, today we are going to be talking about the FBI.
And the deep state.
And the deep state.
All about it.
Deep state. Similar to the CIA.
Similar to the CIA, it's harder to find information on the FBI from what I'm finding.
Yeah.
These guys, man, I don't know. They're all in it.
Is that a good thing or a bad thing?
Are they hiding it better? Are they, who knows? I got a feeling I know.
Yeah.
But
we'll go through some things that they do that may or may not be ethical.
May or may not be ethical.
There's some stuff,
Yeah.
You got some good stuff. You
do.
You need somebody. You need the cops.
Last week I was pretty quick to say everything the CIA is doing is bad. I want to back up a little bit and say, look, there are things that are good. I don't like the way they go about doing them, though.
Okay.
I want to back up and say, look, maybe we wouldn't be in the same world we're in today if some of these things hadn't have happened. But do we have to just go ruin entire countries so we get what we want? I don't think so.
Yeah, that's not good.
That's where my problem is. I want to back up.
My biggest problem with the CIA, and that kind of ties into my feelings on the FBI, is the CIA doing things to American citizens. The federal government's sole purpose is to protect its citizenship.
Exactly.
Protect its nation.
And that's
not...
CIA is supposed to be not domestic anyway. That's not really a domestic situation.
And they were so domestic.
Yeah, they're pretty domestic.
Yeah. So the FBI, I think, on the flip side,
domestic.
The flip side should be more domestic.
Yeah,
they're more of the federal cops.
The way I look at it is the CIA is the world's police. The FBI is the U.S. police. That's the internal federal police.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
It should be. It should. Yeah, it should. It didn't used to be in the name.
Nope, it didn't. Not in 1908.
Did it start out Bureau of Investigation from the beginning?
Yes, it did. I want to say that was in 1908. It was a Bureau of Investigation. Then in 1935, they changed it to what is known today as the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is, we all know it as the FBI.
FBI, yeah. Started in 1908. Yeah. And then switched to the FBI. Did our boy Hoover? Did he change? Did he make it the FBI?
It was when he jumped in. That's when it changed. That's when the name changed. I don't know if he was the guy that said, "Hey, let's go for a name change." But yeah. So I want to kind of form this conversation a little bit. And I've used this quote before, but I think it's more important in this conversation that we've been having for the past couple of weeks. And this is from Benjamin Franklin. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. I think that is kind of where we're living today in a lot of these operations that they've done. They're saying, well, this is going to make us safer. This is going to make us safer. But what are you losing for that safety?
Yeah. And it's been proven that giving up said freedom for more safety usually gets you less safety.
It does.
Because you're just giving the power for destruction to somebody
else. From one
else.
hand to the other.
Yeah.
So it's, who do you trust more, I guess, in some of that instance?
Yeah.
But if you go to the CIA, would we have a problem as much to trust some of these other countries if we weren't dabbling in everybody's business all the time?
Yeah.
May not have near as much of a problem.
Yeah.
I kind of had last night, me and my wife were having a conversation on the JFK assassination stuff, and she was just kind of asking me questions about what I thought. And we've been in this deep state world for the past couple of weeks, and I kind of started to put some dots together a little bit in my mind.
Yeah.
At least I'm connecting some dots in my mind a little bit.
Yeah. Again, that guy with the pegboard.
Yeah, no, it's we got to get a pegboard. By the way, we've got to get that.
We do. All this stuff connects. Every bit of it.
But so the deep state, to me, is a shadow government. It's somebody behind the scenes that's pulling the strings of the guy that we see on a daily basis.
That the citizens cannot control.
That we have no control over.
None.
I sent you a book yesterday, Secrets of the Deep State, I think is what it was called.
Yep.
I've been listening through that, and 2 presidents that have been either assassinated or attempted to be assassinated would be considered people that were not puppets.
History of the Deep State.
Yeah, History of the Deep State.
By Jeremy Stone.
Yeah. So these were 2 presidents that were not going to be controlled by puppet masters. So I'm talking about JFK and Trump right now.
Hopefully. I got some opinions on that.
Okay. Well, but
hopefully he's verbally said he's breaking down the deep state.
That's his whole goal.
Whether
drain the swamp, whether
he
does
or not.
Yeah. Whether he does or not. But these are 2 people that went against what the status quo is of let's go build countries, let's go build worlds, that whole thing.
Let's build up the military.
Let's talk
complex.
Peace. Let's talk peace. Yep. Let's talk all of these things.
Let's protect our American citizens.
Well, what was JFK doing? He was having peace talks with Russia. That was his goal. Want to have peace talks with Russia. What is Trump doing? He said, I'm gonna bring peace back to the Ukraine and Russia.
He's
trying to shut it down. What's going on in our current world today as I'm speaking? Biden is literally trying to start World War III before we get there.
Yeah. He said, everybody go ahead and launch missiles. I'm
go
cool
ahead.
with that.
The one thing Putin said is, look, we're not going to do anything if y'all don't give them permission to launch missiles, which are our missiles.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, on his way out, he's going, do it.
Do it. What happens?
Why?
And then what happened? Then the war escalated.
Yeah, everything escalated.
Russia said, oh, no, you don't.
So the guy that's trying to talk peace, the guy that's the puppet, in my eyes, is trying to now say, nope, I got to get this going. Got to get it moving.
Yep.
Everything's escalating right before all this happens.
Yeah.
I'm not on the FBI topic. I understand. But, man, I got on it last night, and I was like, oh, my gosh, this is kind of starting to make sense.
So, I'm like you, I have noticed the more we're learning about the history of these,
the real history, not what the textbook told you.
Yeah. And you got to do some digging to find and I've done this with every episode we've done. I try to find pro whatever, neutral whatever, and con whatever, against whatever. Man, the FBI and CIA stuff, there's so much unclassified information that's put out there that's negative against it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the only positive stuff I was seeing on the CIA was from the CIA website.
Yep.
The only positive stuff I was seeing on the FBI was from the FBI website.
Yep.
Everybody else, any content.
But what information are you being fed if you're watching the mainstream media, if you're watching these other things?
Or mainstream media, yeah.
If you're watching those type of things and you're not digging into these topics, you're oblivious.
Yeah.
And that's on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
That's on purpose to prop up whatever narrative they're trying to push at that time.
If you're not learning this history from what happened to JFK, how the CIA got started, how the FBI got started, and what they used to do, then it makes it hard to pick out when it happens now.
Well, and I'm stretching in some of these things of tying Operation Northwoods to another significant event that happened in recent history.
That's got to be an episode.
It's going to have to be.
That's going to be the one that gets us banned altogether.
We've danced around it. But man, this evidence is too good.
Yeah. And
the fact that our country was willing to sacrifice some of our people's lives to be able to go to war, to do a false flag operation, basically, against our people to get Cuba.
Yeah.
And to go to war with Cuba and take over Fidel Castro's regime.
Yeah.
That is so dirty, man.
So when you were saying that, I thought you were talking about the event that happened in 2001.
I was.
Until you said Cuba.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm talking about... So
what I'm saying, but my point is...
It's there.
You can pull out the name Cuba and plug in the name Afghanistan, and it's the exact same story.
Mm-hmm. It is the same story. It's... Man...
So
I never thought that this is where I would end up. let me back up here and go. I never wanted to be this guy.
No.
Until I've started looking at it, and it's impossible not to be that guy.
Yeah. Things start when you're researching one period in time, it looks so much like other things that happened in other periods of time.
And does history repeat itself? Sure,
every time.
Does. But you don't have number 8 in Operation Northwoods.
Yeah.
And it is almost verbatim what happened with the word Cuba in it instead of the word Afghanistan in it.
Yeah.
It is weird. We are willing to shoot down planes or crash planes, specifically going over Cuba.
Or blow something up, saying that somebody else blew it up. And
saying somebody else doing it. We're going to throw mock funerals for these people. And come on.
Yeah. So, again, you got to watch it. And I do want to say, all right, now I briefly said it at the end of last week. I think I need to say it early this week.
Yep.
That we love our country. We're not communist.
I would say that we love our country so much that we're willing to inform you of the bad things that has happened.
Yes.
To say, guys, let's not do it again.
Yes. Because it happens to American citizens.
It does.
And we're American citizens. And we love our American citizens. We love our country. We love our freedom.
I love the world, just as a whole. People.
Yeah.
I like that people exist everywhere that are different than I am, that are the same as I am, that are it's
different cultures.
We have no business doing the things we're doing unless they are a direct threat for real.
Yeah.
And the false flag operations, this one false flag operation makes me question every war we've ever fought.
Yeah.
It makes me go, I mean, okay, World War II, I understand why we got in that.
I got some stuff here where the FBI failed that caused that to happen.
Yeah.
And I think it was more of a failure than a
We knew about this. We knew that this was a thing, right?
Yeah.
We knew that it was a possibility.
Yeah, we did.
Pearl Harbor, that is.
Pearl Harbor, yeah.
Just context.
Which is interesting. Today's the day, as we're recording, is Pearl Harbor Day.
It is.
December 7th.
We've done this twice. We did this with JFK.
It's almost like it was...
We did it with this.
Almost like it was kind of meant to be for us to
That's weird.
be having this conversation. And we didn't, I promise we didn't plan
this.
We
really haven't planned any of this. It's all been accidental. Yeah. It's kind of weird.
Stephen walked in this morning and said, hey, it's Pearl Harbor Day. And he's like, oh, cool. Didn't even think about it. And then I was like, I got ties. And he's like, well, what? No.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It ties together. It all does. And I think we're supposed to be talking about this just like we talked about the Nephilim, just like we talked about the little G gods in the Bible.
Just like we talked about JFK.
And
it's just all supposed to be there. And I got a little fired up in the beginning of this.
That's all right. That's all right.
It just, I don't know.
That's where this goes.
It's flying all over me for some reason this morning.
I do want to say we may, for our mental health, have to pull out of the deep state on the next episode.
It eats me. I'm not going to lie. It eats me a little bit. It's, the further I dig, the more I'm like, you're flipping kidding me. No way.
Yeah. It's we may have to go like Bigfoot or something next episode.
Yeah, I need something that's like,
something fun.
It's bad, but it's not this bad. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because we don't. This show. Okay, so what I like about this show, what makes us unique, is we talk about this stuff. We talk about this historical stuff. We talk about this biblical stuff that nobody wants to talk about. Mm-hmm. But we try to do it in a fun way.
We try to.
Like there's a ton of content out there that you can learn from people, and they're a lot smarter than us, and they do a lot more research than we do.
I don't want to be PBS. You know what I mean? I don't want to be the documentary of just dudes talking and then you've got some weird TV music in behind it.
Yeah.
It's not what I want to be. I want to be funny. I want to enjoy what we're doing. Yep. I want everybody to enjoy what we're doing. I'm fine with making fun of myself.
Yeah. I think that's that's where we hang our hat.
That's our thing.
And now I've noticed too, because we've been doing the show for 5 months now, 6 months, and
episode 25 just dropped.
We keep waiting on somebody to say you guys are a bunch of idiots, and it happened maybe a couple times deep in the comment section, but
we're just gonna be like, "Ha, told you."
Yeah, we throw it out there. Of course, we're trolling ourselves so the trolls can't troll us.
Yeah, and if you do troll us, we're just gonna be like, "Okay, sure, you're right.
You're right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
I like it."
Yeah, somebody tried to do on my personal account I said something about Trump and Salatin on a message board for homesteading, and he was like, he said something, and I'm like, okay,
yeah,
that wasn't my point.
You big dumb idiot.
You said the word Trump in your comment. I don't like it. I said, okay, question mark. Don't know what you mean there, but
you tore up over there, buddy. Yeah, you mad? Let's get into the FBI. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, we've been wasting.
We need to. Yeah.
Well, let's.
I had to clear things up. I'm sorry.
That's fine. And it's. Yeah. Anyway, so the FBI started 2000. When did you say it was? 1935.
Well, Bureau of Investigation was 1908 under, was it Roosevelt? Theodore Roosevelt,
yep.
I believe.
Yep.
And he had them really just looking into interstate commerce.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they did.
Yep.
Was the interstate commerce, which was railroads charging too much money for tickets and shipping and all this kind of stuff. And he went, no, you can't do that. So that then grew pretty substantially from that point in 1935 to the Federal Bureau of Investigation, which is where we bring in our good friend, 50-year veteran of the FBI, J. Edgar Hoover. Yes. Yeah. What a guy.
There's one name I want to, since we're going to talk about the prehistory of FBI. The Attorney General at the time that started under Roosevelt, started the Bureau of Investigation, was Bonaparte was his name.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Charles Bonaparte, which is the great nephew of Napoleon Bonaparte.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Was not aware of that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Thought that
was he a short guy?
I don't know.
A little stumpy?
Hoover was very short.
He was.
He had little man syndrome. Hardcore.
Hey, that's probably where little man syndrome came from. You think that the guys inside of the FBI didn't make that comment every now and then?
Nope.
He would roll through, just all big and bad and swaggered.
Yep.
And he's like, little man Hoover.
Little man Hoover.
Old little J.
Yep. So he started out he lived in Washington, didn't really come from money. His mom raised him pretty much. His dad passed away early, I believe. Yeah. He
lived with his mom his whole life, or her whole life.
Do we want to just jump in, set the groundwork of this guy's personal life?
No, let's save
that for part 2.
That. It's just you mentioned his mom, and I'm like, why did he live with his mother the whole time?
Yeah, kind of like what was the guy that Psycho? What was that movie? Psycho.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think he lived with his mom.
Yeah, she was dead, and he kept her in the room, and she talked to him. But
that kind of crazy. But I mean, he was
maybe.
You don't know. I can't.
You didn't hang out with him.
I can't confirm nor deny it. So you're right.
Yeah. So J. Edgar Hoover started out. His first job was at the Library of Congress, which was interesting because he learned how to file stuff and file books and keep records, and that was a big part of what he changed in the FBI. The Bureau of Investigation.
It was big. That was kind of the huge deal about what he did.
Yep, he had a number system for all his files.
That still exists to this day.
Yeah, they still use it.
They still use that.
It made it crazy complicated, so just anybody couldn't go find whatever. It's
still that crazy complicated too, because they only know their number system.
Yeah, so that's interesting. He did do a lot for the FBI, but
sure. I mean, he brought in fingerprints during that.
Yeah, the scientific part of it. He had a big lab that learned how to track fingerprints and read fingerprints, and
he started the mugshot. He was the one that kind of brought the mugshot in.
Okay,
so you would have their fingerprints, and then you would have their mugshot. So it would all be in their
file,
in their database of like, oh no, we got this guy before. Here it is.
Okay. Yeah, so he started out at the Library of Congress, quickly got promoted. He had a speech impediment when he was young, and in high school he took a debate class to try to work and overcome that.
Wow.
Yeah, so they said bold. he was a Ben Shapiro type speaker. Like, he spoke really quick.
Sure.
He had to talk quick to get through his stutter. If he stopped like me and you do, we'll stop and think for a second and have a little pause between our words. He would just get hammered.
Get hung up.
Yeah, he'd just Porky Pig it right off the bat. So,
but
2 times in a nickel. Yeah, so he quickly worked his way up, and then once he got a job for the Bureau of Investigations, he started getting power, and he got a taste of the power, and that's where the hook was for him.
Yeah,
he got the taste of the power. He, without approval, was able to arrest and detain and imprison immigrants.
You know what we never did?
What did we not do?
We never turned our lights on.
We didn't turn them on. Do that while I'm talking.
Hey, yeah, you keep us moving here.
We're idiots. We don't know what we're doing. he learned how to do the filing system, carried that in the FBI. He got promoted, started arresting people for just whatever he wanted, and got away with it. So much so that his bosses, is that better? There we go.
I don't know. I gave everybody a thumbs up.
It'll work. Yeah. So he was arresting people with so unchecked power that his bosses was having to check him a little bit.
Yeah.
Like say, dude, you can't do that, and like releasing people.
So who is his boss though?
I don't know. I can go dig.
It's Congress, I'm sure. I'm sure there's
Congress
some oversight.
Yeah, but
Attorney General maybe.
When he first got into the Bureau of Investigations, he didn't start out as the head guy.
Oh, he didn't.
He kind of got promoted.
Worked his way up.
Yeah, it had a title, and he was very young. He was in his 20s when that happened.
Okay.
He did. I think before he worked at the Library of Congress, he did go to George Washington University, and he got some law degrees and stuff like that. So, he was schooled. He did have an ascending career path. He didn't come for money, and Daddy got him a job, and like almost all politicians.
He ended with money though.
Lobbyists that we got, he did.
I went to the end, but yeah, he ended with a lot of money.
Yeah, did he? Yeah. Okay.
He ended with I think his house would be worth like $2.9 million today. It was like a $500,000 house.
So what's interesting about that is he was notorious for not wanting to increase his salary.
Yeah.
So just like most of our politicians today, where'd that money come from?
Well, there's rumor. So
some greasy palms.
Once we get into personal life a little bit, we can get into some of that.
All right, we'll save that for part two or after the break. But so he gets in. Who appointed him? It was
Truman. What? No, it wasn't Truman. I'm sorry, that's wrong.
Hang on.
Right
here. I had it pulled up a while ago.
It wasn't Roosevelt because Roosevelt was before that. Who's in betwixt those two? Betwixt. I like that.
That's a weird word.
It is. I don't think it's real.
Did you just make that up just now?
I've heard it before, but I don't think it's a real word.
All right. He served under. Oh, dang it! I had it. Where'd it go?
Oh, come on now.
Such noobs.
Yeah.
Like we've done this before.
It's almost like we've been researching for a week and then we get asked a question that we don't know the answer to, that we ask ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, Roosevelt?
No. Coolidge. Dadgummit.
Coolidge?
Yes.
Anyway, so he served under so many people. Did I talk about this on here? I know we talked about it in the pre-show, but
what's that?
That how many different presidents and how long he was the FBI director.
We haven't discussed that, no.
So he started out. So when me and Steven yesterday, and Connor last week was deciding what to talk about this week, we was like, let's stay deep state. Let's talk about the FBI. And I did a quick search, found J. Edgar Hoover, and it showed that he was in power for like 48 years.
Yeah.
And Steven and Connor, I say, he was FBI director for 48 years. And Steven and Connor's like, nah.
That's how long he was alive.
Yeah.
I thought that was like his start date and end date.
Yeah,
I was like, okay, come on. In life. Yeah, his lifelong end date.
And I was like, no, he was the FBI director for that long.
Which is, let's just back up. That's completely unheard of in today's world. No. Like, that doesn't happen.
In politics
and shouldn't happen.
No, it shouldn't.
Because as the longer you're in a position in the government, the more unchecked power seems to grow as well.
Yeah.
It seems like that just keeps blowing up a little more.
Yeah.
And the further he's in, the more that's evident to you.
And the way he gained said power, he was really good at harboring information on politicians. I'd say that was probably most of his job, was getting information on people to use it as blackmail.
So, I'd like to relate that to today a little bit. Do we truly think, because the Fourth Amendment existed during this time frame.
Yeah.
So he was wiretapping people's personal homes, would get information on like somebody's daughter.
Yeah.
And be like, oh yeah, by the way, and he wouldn't classify this as blackmail. The way he would do this is he would get this information from one of his agents or something like that, and he would send a runner basically that would run to Congress and say, hey, just wanted to let you know we got this information. Just wanted you to be aware that was a thing and we know about it.
Yeah. And
not in a threatening way.
Yeah.
He would just so you know, we got this info.
Yeah. Just let them know that they know that they probably shouldn't be doing the things they're doing.
Yeah.
They're not going to tell anybody.
He would never say, hey, if you were to get rid of me, then it would be crazy if all this information came out. He never did that. But he would let them know in such a way that was implied, I would say.
Yeah. So it made it to where they didn't want to do anything to make him mad, wanted to be his friend because they didn't want said information to come out.
Do you know what president wanted to nix him? Get him out? John F. Kennedy wanted him out of the FBI.
Yikes.
Or wanted him, he wanted him out of the FBI. He's like, no, don't want it. So Hoover had some information about Kennedy and his extramarital relationships he had
his
with
girlfriends,
numerous women. And he sent a runner, hey, just want to let you know this information exists and we have it. And guess who didn't, in the 60s, that was not looked at the same way it is today. Somebody, and I'm not saying it's a good thing today, but it would ruin a political career completely.
Oh, yeah.
If you're out, with loose women, you probably are not going to keep your political status.
Yeah, like it did with Clinton. He almost, he did get impeached. He messed up his.
He didn't get impeached. He resigned, but yeah.
But so one of the quotes from JFK was when they asked why he didn't fire Hoover.
Yeah.
You can't fire God.
Ooh.
He had that much power.
Well, it was thought that he was probably the most powerful man in the government during his reign.
For sure.
He was the most powerful man in the government because the man who has the most knowledge is going to be the most powerful in this situation.
Yeah, I think it was Roosevelt, may have been one of the other presidents, but they offered him a chance to run for the presidency.
Yeah.
He turned it down. He said, because I've got too much power.
I don't want to lose what power I got.
Yeah. He's like, he said, if I run for president, I'm out in 4 to 8 years. He said, but if now I'm unchecked. Like, why would I give that up?
Why would I give this up?
And
off topic, do you ever have a mustache hair that will curl into your nose and just itch the crap out of you?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm dealing with it right now. I'm not picking my nose, guys. I promise.
That's okay. I usually try to cut that out.
Yeah, I'll do one of these all the times.
I call it the booger cut. If I see one of us,
and you know what, I appreciate it.
As long as you're not talking, I usually hey, he's picking his boogers. I'm gonna move the camera.
I just want everybody to know that right now I'm not picking my nose. I've got just a mustache hair.
That's okay.
Yeah,
that's okay.
I'm secure enough to have that conversation with our fans. It's fine.
That's okay. Yes. So
sorry, derailed us.
That's okay. That's all right. It's time for a break anyway.
It is. Let's jump into it.
Let's take a quick break. StridedRealities.com. It's where you need to go check out our stuff. Check out our website. I'm gonna make some changes to it. I need to update our.
It's getting about time to
YouTube
just
links.
do a little refresh on there. Get some new stuff.
Yep. I want to get some. Seen in a book I've been reading about marketing. I need to get some like testimonials. Some comments, people talking about the show. Put those on there. So I'm going to get that.
Tell us how we changed your life in 3 easy steps. Listening to 3 episodes of Shrouded Realities, and my life is forever changed.
Well, why don't you start? And start out. Give some examples. What's a way that the show has changed your life?
How has it changed my life? It has made me a more anxious person. It has
anxiety through
made
the
me
roof.
Question everything that I once knew. And I feel more informed. I did have that conversation with you not that long ago. Just in life, in general, in some weird way, I've been more confident after doing this.
Yeah, my wife
not just about what we're talking about, but just in general.
Yeah, wife got on to me a couple weeks ago. She was like, "You just say whatever comes to your mind now, don't you?"
My wife's mentioned that to me as well. Yeah, she said that to me as well. She's like,
I need to tell my wife that so she feels a little better.
Yeah, we're all starting to rot.
Maybe
on
our wives need to form a support group.
Yeah,
and they just Steven just says whatever he wants anytime he wants.
Yeah.
And
he's like, hey, well, did you know that the Nephilim were the reason that all this is happening? And then it's like everybody looks at you like you've got 3 heads. It's great. But back on, just a couple of plugs. We got YouTube, everybody. Yep. And this means you. I'm looking at the camera. You.
We need to do that more often, by the way.
Right now.
I've noticed
that is watching this show.
Yep.
It's really easy. Shroud Realities podcast on YouTube. Type it in. We're the only one.
We're it. There's some content that has that name in it, but it's like one or two things.
You're going to be able to see it, who it is, because it looks like me and Joey and Connor most of the time.
With our cool logo.
So, yeah, with a sweet logo of Bigfoot on the front of it.
Yep.
But there's a little box once you go to our YouTube page, and it says subscribe. What I need everyone to do, and I'm looking in the camera again.
Right now.
These people right here. Click subscribe.
Yep.
Then there's a little bell right there. Click that. Then every time an episode drops, we just go live randomly now.
Yeah.
You're going to be notified that is there.
Yeah.
Click on it. Go to it. Say something nice.
That's right.
Say something mean. I don't care. I'm an idiot.
Share information with us. I get a lot of information from listeners.
Yeah. We learn a lot of things from listeners, and we appreciate it.
Yeah.
That's our big thing. We got a Patreon. If you want to support us, definitely jump on. $2 a month, cheap.
Yep.
You'll get content 3 weeks early. We're working on
2 weeks early.
2 weeks early. Sorry.
Yeah.
We're working on in the new year. We want to try to grow that a little bit and figure out a way that we can give you more for your money.
Yep. We're still we're in the content building phase of the show.
But we want somebody to feel like they got their money's worth when they join our platforms and things like that.
Yeah.
You're getting your money's worth if you're on YouTube because it's free.
Yeah.
You're getting your money's worth.
Yeah, there's a lot of free content. I do like that.
We got a lot of free stuff, and we want it to be that way.
Yeah.
This is content that I didn't know until I did.
Yeah.
And
but the stuff costs money, so we need some.
It does. This takes work
for the brothers and sisters that have a little extra jingle in the pocket.
If you got $2 a month, and you would want to support some alternative media to stay away from the mainstream that is feeding you lies and deceit.
Yep.
If we're wrong about something, just like today, I wanted to clear some things up. I'm going to own it and come back and say, you know what? I was wrong. I screwed this up.
We do that often.
When's the last time you saw the mainstream media do that?
Never.
I don't think that's a thing. No. I don't think that's in their lexicon.
No, they don't fact check themselves.
Yeah, that's right.
No.
Get some merch.
What's your favorite merch?
Stickers. So, and I was a little quick to answer that. I was going to think about it, but that's it. It's just there.
Yeah.
They've got, it's really crazy what we have come up with in the span of human history and the technology that has evolved. This could have been given to us from fallen angels. I don't know. Is that kind of technology? It's really, what else do you know that you just
I don't think the Book of Enoch talks about
It doesn't talk about stickers. It talks about metallurgy.
It did talk about.
It talks about weaponry.
Chemistry.
Yeah. And guess what? They figured out how to put chemicals on the back of a piece of paper. It doesn't affect the front side of the paper. Okay. It's nuts.
What can you put on the front side?
You can put imagery. We like logos. That's kind of our thing. We have reached out to some people about possibly making other stickers.
Yep.
Because it is such a big deal. We're on the forefront. I really think of changing a lot of things in the world.
Yeah.
With this type of technology.
And right now we're still in the noob phase, so we only have one.
We do. But
logo.
The one is powerful.
It is powerful.
It's strong.
It's a mural almost.
When I look at it, I feel a sense of purpose and strength.
Yep.
And it's a big deal. And everybody should really jump on. They're cheap too.
Yeah, they're cheap.
You get 5.
Five for $5.
For $5.
Free shipping.
Some would
nationwide.
say that's like $1 a piece.
It is. I did see a thing.
Where do you get a deal like that? It's a bundle.
You don't. And it's so cheap we can't even do Black Friday deals.
It's too cheap.
It's like right now.
It's almost too cheap. I almost feel like we're giving it away for free.
Yeah. Free shipping.
It is.
Just like Amazon.
Yeah.
I'm not saying we're Amazon, but we're close.
Some people call us the Jeff Bezos of podcasts.
So call me the songbird of our time.
That's right. All
right. That's enough about stickers.
Sorry.
One day.
I can really just preach about stickers. I think that they are just a big deal.
It's a practice in salesmanship.
It is.
I heard Mike Rowe, he did Rogan a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Great episode, by the way.
We reference Rogan a lot. You know that?
We do.
But it's the pinnacle.
And I'm a huge fan of Mike Rowe, what he stands for, what he does, his career. But he said He used to be a QVC host. You didn't know that?
Whoa.
Yeah, he started out as a QVC host.
He wasn't one of the ones
start out. That was just one of his early jobs. But on his interview, he walked in. They handed him a number 2 pencil and asked him to sell it. And he did the pitch for Rogan that he did for QVC to help him get that job.
Yeah.
It's solid.
Would you have bought that pencil?
Oh, yes, 100%.
So here's my thing. I've given everyone this pitch for stickers.
You did the sticker
Do you
pitch.
feel like that I have pitched stickers in a way that people will go to our website and purchase them?
We'll see. Time will tell.
This is on you, Peter. I'll flip this back to you. Let's talk a little bit about Hoover.
Let's talk about the FBI and J. Edgar Hoover. I do want to jump in. So today, as the day we're recording, is December 7th, Pearl Harbor Day.
Yes.
The day lived in infamy.
Big deal. That was changed history.
Did you know that part of the blame, if not I'd say a big part of the blame, anyway, part of the blame for that event happening falls on J. Edgar Hoover's head.
Oh, it did not.
Did not.
Not until you told me this pre-show. I didn't.
Yep. Yeah. So at the time, Wild Bill Donovan was the director of the OSS, which later became the CIA. Yep. He was the director of the OSS, which became the CIA. Him and J. Edgar Hoover were feuding. They were
feuding.
Gotcha.
Okay.
They were CIA, they were power struggling.
CIA and FBI hate each other.
Yeah.
There's some weird thing about that
because they're fighting for power in a system where they shouldn't have power because they're appointed. So they were fighting for notoriety. They were fighting to advance their what do you call it? Their organization.
Yeah.
So they were feuding. So much so that under J. Edgar Hoover's direction, he had the FBI infiltrate the CIA.
Ooh.
Yeah. So he was
giving them a dose to their own, huh?
Yep. He was creating files on all the CIA agents, all the CIA director people, pretty much the whole system. He was generating files for said blackmail that he's been doing to everybody else is why he stayed in power. While that was going on, because he was so focused on taking down the OSS, guess what he wasn't looking at?
Obviously,
he wasn't doing his job.
Kamikaze planes coming into
so Nazi
Hawaiian port.
The way that the Japanese got that information was through Nazi infiltrators that were in our country and selling and giving information to the Japanese, telling them about our port in Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, giving them all the information, setting them up to be able to do that. So
just as context historically to that, we were intentionally keeping our feet out of this World War II that was going on.
Yeah,
we did not want to be a part of it. We're like, not our fight, which is rare for the United States of America to do that.
Well, God, do I say it?
Yes, you say it. On the Shrouded Realities podcast. You say it.
I've said it before. We had ties to the Nazi Party.
Even at this point, we did.
Yeah.
So
I mean, I know we did on the back end with Operation Paperclip, but they. I'm afraid. Don't know this for sure. Hadn't dug into it enough, but there are indications, little sprinkles of information that make you think.
Are you Salt Baying this?
I'm Salt Baying this.
Gotcha.
This is the information coming down.
Hey, there's some 2013 throwbacks.
Yeah,
Salt Bay.
Salt Bay.
Yeah, you're
Boom,
welcome.
Memeing. There were indications that we didn't act like we should have with World War II because not that the Nazis wasn't.
We were too entwined. We were too entangled.
We were more friendly with the Nazis than we should have been. So that may have been one of the reasons why we didn't.
You got to go listen to this book. You got to go listen to the book that I sent you.
Is that in there? In the Deep State?
History of the Deep State. Was that what it was?
Is that in there?
Yeah. So, and I'm not going to go down this rabbit hole right now, but the purpose of these agencies that exist in our country and in other countries is to bring about a one world style government.
Really?
Absolutely it is. Okay. Otherwise, why would we be going and overthrowing Bo Buckley up the road?
Bo.
Who says, well, we're not going to conform to whatever they want us to do.
Yeah.
We want everybody to be in our little thing.
Are we going to do a standalone deep state episode?
We're going to have to do an Illuminati,
wrapping it all up.
Yeah,
let's do that. All right, so we're setting the groundwork. We talked about big pharma, big food.
If you've been paying attention over the past few weeks, you're going to see ties
to the deep state.
That is on purpose.
Yeah.
We're not doing these episodes on purpose as far as the dates.
Yeah.
But we are intentionally trying to weave a web here for everybody to see, to get to a final conclusion of this is what we think's going on. So I've already sprinkled some salt in that.
Let's do that then. Let's finish like each individual portions of the deep state.
It's hard not to
Illuminati, the Masons. Guess who was, speaking of the Masons?
He was like a top level Mason.
He was the highest level, 33 degree when he died.
You know, be that, you have to have some amount of power
in the government.
In the government to be able to reach that level of masonry.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I'm scared of the Masons. I don't want to do an episode on the Masons.
I don't know that it's going to be hard to find information that's credible about the Masons, I think.
Yeah, that'll be a tough one. But anyway,
we'll see.
Where was I heading with that?
I'm sorry. We were in World War II. That's where we were. We were in World War II.
Yeah. So if the FBI had been doing their job like they should have been, the FBI could have possibly snuffed out what was going on earlier and prevented a lot of deaths.
There was another tragic situation that happened that if people had been doing their jobs and paying attention, may not have happened as well.
Referencing 2001 again?
I'm just laying it out there.
Okay.
I'm not talking about anything particular. Yeah. Everybody can take their own thoughts about that.
Let's get fun with this. All right, so one of his...
Fun. I know where you're going.
Yeah. So one of his tools of wielding power was getting personal information on politicians and celebrities.
Yeah,
he was big in Hollywood.
And just your regular American person, too.
Yeah.
He did that.
He was big in Hollywood, using people, getting dirty information. There was a file, not a file, but a system of files. So he had different systems in his filing system, and one of them was sexual deviancy.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. But that
was a little much, Joey.
Yeah, sorry.
You better chill out.
But that was the file name, was sexual deviancy. So he would get dirty information on people, on their personal lives, and put them in this file.
Yep.
Use it for blackmail without it being blackmail, but everybody knows it was blackmail, so that he could stay in power. Okay. I
could go somewhere here.
Yeah. Don't. Thank you. The interesting way and the interesting part about that is I didn't even talk about his ties to the mob. He was super tied in with the mob.
So much so that he said that there was not any organized crime in the United States.
Yeah, he denied the mob, even though the mob was in movies.
It was plain as day.
Everywhere. Everybody knew it. Everybody knew the families of the different cities. Like
they knew the leaders of the families.
Yeah.
I mean, they knew
but
all that
he
stuff.
was, and when we say everybody knew, like the mafia dons, and it was just a thing. But he kept saying, no, it's not a thing. So anyway,
there's a reason for that.
Yep. So come to find out. All right, let me lay some groundwork. He had an assistant. Clyde Anderson Tolson was with him from the very beginning.
I like Clyde. I like that as a name.
Yep. He was the second in power of the FBI from 1930 to 1972. It's pretty much the entire span of Hoover's reign.
He was in there with Hoover.
He was directly, no pun intended, directly under J. Edgar Hoover.
Man, I wish I could say words.
I knew it. That was
directly under him.
I'm throwing you softballs. Please swing and miss.
Okay, I could swing right there. Somebody else was swinging.
He was swinging. Yeah. So, interesting fact about Clyde Anderson Tolson and J. Edgar Hoover is
he was a bottom. Oh, sorry.
Stop.
Dang it.
Not that. I wasn't going there. I was going to say they never married. They never married. You spilled coffee everywhere. That's cool.
I didn't. I had my lid closed.
Sweet. Okay. But yeah, he never married. Neither one of them ever married, and they were...
I spilled coffee everywhere.
They were quote unquote inseparable. And he stayed his number 2. Stop it, Joey. He stayed his number 2 through his entire reign of power.
He stayed his number 2.
I'm trying to move on.
Man.
He so much so that the day that Hoover died, while he was in office, Clyde stepped down. Like, he was like, I'm done.
Yep.
So like he didn't even want to be, usually if you're the vice president, when the president goes down, you want to step up. That's the next level.
Interestingly enough,
he didn't want to do that.
He also was given J. Edgar Hoover's entire estate.
Really?
Yep.
Didn't know that. Kind of like you would with your wife?
Yeah, kind of like if I died.
Your wife would get everything?
My wife would get all. She would be my direct.
Okay. So every bit of this is just speculation. I watched a couple of different researchers talk about this subject. There's zero. They did a really good job hiding it if this was the case. We are just implying.
Yeah, I mean, this is the historical. Everybody says, yeah, this probably was the case.
Yeah. So supposedly the mob had pictures or information. So
they had pictures of him cross-dressing.
Oh, that's right. He was a cross-dresser,
He was a cross-dresser, and he would go to these parties in New York.
He
was wearing...
At this particular hotel.
Yeah.
That was kind of an Epstein Island type.
It was a weird situation. And he would be wearing a dress, makeup, high heels, the full deal.
And the mob had pictures.
Let me go ahead and tell you this. That would be one ugly woman.
Yeah, he was an ugly dude anyway.
He was kind of stumpy.
Yeah.
He's kind of a stumpy boy. Yeah. And then you start.
They said his office was set up to, he had his chair at the highest level. He was on a pedestal, so the floor was raised up, and then everybody in the office with him had chairs that were like close to the ground.
He had some weird rules too.
Yeah. He was a germaphobe.
He was a germaphobe. He said that you could not drink coffee while on the job.
He had a staff member whose sole job was to kill flies.
Yeah,
we're talking about the most powerful man in probably the world, but definitely America.
Yeah. Hey, kill these flies.
He was a possible cross-dresser, scared of flies. Scared of germs.
He made agents go build a back porch for him while on the job.
Okay.
Built cabinets. All this kind of stuff. Which is, if you're familiar with the government at all, that's a big time no-no. You're not supposed to do that at all.
Oh, that's right.
And you would be prosecuted for that today. But if you're
he's using taxpayer funds
using taxpayer money to have his back deck built.
Interesting.
He would go on vacations with Tolson, which is
again, they were inseparable.
Yeah.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
I'm buddies with Joey. We're not inseparable. Me and him are friends.
And if that's your lifestyle, whatever. Whatever you want to do. I don't care.
I mean, do what you want.
Whatever you do. America, it's a free country.
Whatever you do in your bed is on you.
That's right.
You got to answer for it when Jesus comes back. But whatever.
That's on you. Everybody's got their own decision.
You got your own thing. So, but me and him's not going on, vacations together, and people, I don't know of anybody that would look at me and you and go, yeah, them too. Better watch out.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give you any reason to.
Well, I mean, if we were 40, 50, 60 years old and never been married, and the only person I ever hang out with was one person.
Yeah.
I'm sure people would think things.
Well, there was a celebrity interview right after he had passed away, and she was she was trying to say, hey, look, homosexuality is not this big of a deal. That was her whole, can't think of what I'm trying to say. It was not a protest,
cause.
But her cause. And she said, I was really good friends with J. Edgar Hoover, and everybody knew about him.
Whoa, really?
Yeah, she flat out said it in the interview. She was like,
after he
died, she was like, everybody knew about him. So, yeah. But yet again, speculation. We don't know.
Just throwing out stuff that we learned this week while we're talking.
Yeah, I mean, just stuff that is historical context. The FBI obviously people in the FBI thought that this was the case. There it is.
But that's, yeah. So I did find it hypocritical and interesting that was what he used against other people.
Yeah.
Given his
we've kind of got a little bit of J. Edgar Hoover and some of the groundwork that he did as far as his ability to spy on the American public and people in power in our country, and how he would utilize a lot of that information for his own personal gain.
Yeah.
I want to jump into 2001 after I discuss what the Fourth Amendment is a little bit. Let's just have a conversation about the Fourth Amendment.
And I've got one thing I want to wrap up with. You go ahead though. It's a separate subject.
Oh, I got you. I got you. So the Fourth Amendment of the United States, I know a lot of people have no idea what any of these amendments are. I think I've called it the 14th Amendment on this show before because I'm an idiot.
The only one I care about is the Second Amendment.
Yeah, I like the first one too because that gives us the right to have this conversation.
To do what we're doing right now.
Yeah, but Fourth Amendment protects from unreasonable searches and seizures by the government. So there's a whole slew of things that are involved in that. But let's just basically say the government doesn't have a right to come into my four walls and pay attention to whatever I'm doing as long as I'm not doing something wrong.
Right.
Or they have reasonable suspicion that I am doing something wrong. They have no right to whatever I'm doing.
Is not liking a person a reason?
Nope. It's not.
That was his MO, by the way.
Yeah.
He would just go after whoever he didn't like.
He went after Sinatra and called him a communist.
Went after Reagan's wife. Yeah.
Which Reagan was, did you know he was a CIA guy? Anyway, sorry. So we know that the FBI's groundwork was literally based on circumventing that amendment.
Yep.
From what it looks like, because he did it. There's evidence everywhere that he was just running rampant and spying on whoever he wanted to. But in 2001, we decided, let's just up that a little bit. Let's give a little more power. Context of why we did it. I mean, we had one of the worst terror attacks in our nation's history had just happened. And I would like to loop back to what Benjamin Franklin said. And I'm gonna requote here. Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety. So everybody's scared. Everybody's terrified of what just happened to the Twin Towers. That was, of course, September 11th, 2001. And one of the quickest actions I've ever seen from government on October 26th, 2001, pretty quick turnaround for some huge law.
Yeah.
We gave...
Got to play on those emotions.
We gave law enforcement and intelligence agencies expanded authority to wiretap and monitor pen register domestically and internationally. So they can wiretap here and abroad.
Yep.
Access electronic communications, just if they think that you might... that guy could be involved in something.
Yep. Give me that phone.
Conduct secret searches, share more information between federal agencies, which was weird. I didn't realize that they didn't really communicate prior to
feel like they should.
The Patriot Act. You would think that it's like, hey, CIA found something out, could happen here.
Hey, go investigate it, Bureau of Investigations.
Yeah, you would think that conversation would be happening prior. You don't need permission for that one, I wouldn't think. Track and investigate terrorist activity. That's what was pushed. In 2001, that's the narrative. That's what we're doing. We're doing this for terrorists. Don't worry about your freedoms.
The name is interesting, too, of the Patriot Act. I'm
a
patriot. I don't care.
Words are very important, and they pass certain laws today with certain names.
Yeah.
But when you dig into the law, there's one little section about this big where they talk about the thing that the name of it is, and the rest of it's just full of money to
liberty
Ukraine.
Stealing.
Yeah, the rest of it's money to Ukraine.
Stealing.
Yeah, but there's a whole other list of just all the powers that the FBI and other central intelligence agencies were granted within less than a month.
Yeah.
That's
interesting.
Very interesting. So anyway, you said you had a wrap up.
Yeah, I did. One of the other, I did all my study on J. Edgar Hoover. Like, that's where I lived pretty much all week long. He was a very open racist.
No way.
Yeah, no way. What really? He went after
sexist too.
He went after MLK pretty hard. So much that he sent him a letter. I don't know if he did, but anyway, the FBI did send him a letter.
Yeah.
Encouraging him to kill himself.
Because they had information, supposedly.
Yeah, I was fixing to get there. Yep.
About some relations he was having with women.
Yep.
Supposedly.
Mm-hmm.
And MLK ended up assassinated.
Yeah.
And
kind of JFK style.
There's a lot of questions surrounding what happened to MLK.
Yeah.
And how that all played out.
And this, just for us personally with the show, and I think this is a God thing. We'd got, so I guess, snippets that the narrative behind MLK was wrong from what we were taught in school.
Mm-hmm.
And we almost did an episode on that. I don't think we almost did an episode. We talked about doing an episode on that.
Yeah, we did.
Just because we're if you hear history, if we're getting taught wrong, we want to expose it. We want to talk about it.
Yeah, it's kind of our lane.
We want to research it. So when I heard that MLK was a possible womanizer, some Jewish white guy was writing his speeches. When I heard all that stuff, I was like, oh boy, we got to call attention to that.
Yeah.
We stayed away from it for obvious reasons. But I think that was a little bit of a God thing, because now researching what we did here and that the role that the FBI played in his assassination makes me think that may or may that was probably not
flag
true
situation.
Yeah, that information that gets spread about Martin Luther King Jr. was probably not true.
Probably what it is there is normally with this kind of stuff, there is some truth somewhere in it. That maybe something,
maybe not.
I mean, in the realm of blackmail, you've got to have something that's going to still sway
like a picture,
public in a direction. There's got to be. It's not necessarily that any of the things are true, but if you have something that you can twist,
like a picture of him hugging his aunt, and be like, "Oh, look at him filling up some chick."
There could be something like that does exist that could be seen as nefarious, maybe, or him being a womanizer or whatever. Something like that could be real.
Yeah.
But I've researched into that a little bit, going through the FBI stuff.
Yeah.
And there are some things that probably they fabricated, we'll say.
Yeah. Because of his racism and because of just the general direction that MLK was taking the country at the time.
Yeah. He was going in a direction that
the deep state and establishment did not like.
They want to keep us separated for obvious reasons. The deep state does not want a unified America or world in any way. They want it to be, your skin's different than mine.
Mm-hmm.
You think differently than I do. You are rich, I'm poor.
Mm-hmm.
There is always a divide somewhere. Growing up, racism was not necessarily a thing that you heard about ever for me.
Mm-mm.
There was a time recently that all of that picked back up. And it seemed like it was more of a bigger deal again.
So
we're not those people.
We're not. If you don't listen to the narrative, if you're living your own life, if you're loving people like Jesus told us to love people, stuff's not a non-issue. It's okay to have different cultures. It's okay to have different upbringings. It's okay to like and love someone that thinks different from you.
It's okay to disagree with someone. There's going to be people that disagree with every word we've ever said.
Please talk to us about it.
Let us know. We would love to have a discussion with every one of them.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of our thing. We like it.
Yeah.
We want it.
Yep.
We like it. We love it. We want some more of it.
Quoting, who's in it? Billy Ray Cyrus? Is that?
That was not Billy Ray Cyrus.
Alan Jackson?
No. I don't know.
Anyway.
Who knows?
Tell us in comments. I'll figure it out later.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Who cares? Don't listen to the narrative.
Hey, and if y'all want more on everything. Question everything. If y'all want more on the FBI and their dirty dealings, dig into January 6th, maybe?
Yep.
I didn't touch on it.
Yeah. Drop the name that you need to check. Do a quick search.
Check on Ray Epps.
Ray Epps.
Look into the DOJ and the Department of Justice a little bit. Yep. It's things that I could have got to, but we didn't have time today.
Yeah, we did leave out a lot on this one.
We'll retouch.
We'll bring it back up, just like we did with the CIA. We'll bring it back up in other episodes. It all ties together.
It does.
Every bit of it.
ShroudedRealities.com. Like, comment, subscribe.
Hit us up.
Join the community.
Check out our live feeds. We're doing live feeds now.
That's right.
Anyway, for Steven, Missing Connor, Joey, and Ruby the podcast dog, thank you for listening.